Bonjour, my friends. I'm Frankie, and welcome to Club Foodie. Easter is coming up this weekend, and this is a well celebrated holiday around the world. Each country will have their favorite meal on the menu. In Italy, they might go for Colombia di Pasqua, Empanada Ragusana, Torta Pasqualina, or this one. In today's episode, I'll show you how to make my pizza rustica. This deep dish is deliciously packed with deli meats and cheeses, plus a few added ingredients. This is a recipe everyone will love. So let's get cooking. We'll go ahead and make the dough. In a bowl of a food processor, we'll grate some frozen butter. It's almost like my foolproof pie dough recipe with a few small changes. To this, we'll add flour, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and some sea salt. We'll put the cover on and pause for 2 minutes, cleaning the sides of the bowl when needed. After a couple minutes, we should have chunks of the mixture here and there. So to it, we'll add beaten eggs, followed by lemon zest, which won't let go of my spoon, it's stuck right there, and 1 tablespoon of ice water. When I say ice water, I mean it. I place my measuring cup in a freezer and leave it there until some crystals form on the surface. Then we'll process again until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Oh, and let's not forget to remove the food pusher. I like using my food processor because at my age, life starts getting short. But if you want to be a true Nona, you can do all this by hand. If you do, remember to form a well with the dry ingredients and drop the beaten eggs in it. While it's running, we'll keep adding ice water by the tablespoon, blending well between each addition. I normally use about 5 to 6 tablespoons. At some point, we'll stop the machine and bring the bottom mixture to the top so it can get moist as well. Alright, so when we finally added our 5 tablespoons of ice water, we'll transfer the mixture to a large bowl. Now, using a fork, we'll break down the pieces as much as we can and add another tablespoon of ice water. We'll mix and keep adding water until the mixture is moist but not wet, stirring between each addition. From start to finish, I usually add 8, sometimes 9 tablespoons. The best indication is to grab a small amount in our hand and firmly squeeze it. If it holds together, it's ready. Otherwise, continue adding water. We'll turn it onto a lightly floured work surface and shape it into a disc. We'll tightly wrap it with cling film and transfer it to the fridge for at least 1 hour. Meanwhile, we'll start making the filling. We'll warm up a large skillet on medium heat before adding hot Italian sausage. And if you want to make it from scratch, click on the top right corner of your screen to view the recipe. We'll cook the meat until golden brown, breaking it up into small pieces. It roughly takes 6 to 7 minutes to cook, and when it's done, we'll scoop it up with a slotted spoon, leaving the fat behind. We'll let any excess fat drain in a colander. That's important to do so the inside of the pizza doesn't get wet. Back to our skillet. We'll remove most of the fat, leaving about 1 tablespoon. Still on medium heat, we'll add white onions as well as red peppers and saute the vegetables for 2 minutes. By the way, this is not traditional, okay? To this, we'll add another non-traditional ingredient, and it's pressed garlic. We'll saute it for only 30 seconds. We'll now transfer the veggies to a large bowl, but if you think your mixture is slightly oily, add it to the colander with the Italian sausage. After the meat is well drained, we'll add our cooked sausage, followed by smoked ham, then pepperoni, and salami. all cubed about the same size. Next, we'll add the ricotta that has been drained, and to see how, click on the top right corner of your screen. We'll also add mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, although you can substitute it with Parmigiano Reggiano. We're not done. We'll add 7 beaten eggs. I know, that's a lot. And season with a heaping tablespoon of Italian seasoning, which the link for my homemade blend is showing up on your screen. Then some freshly ground black pepper and fresh chopped parsley. I don't add any salt for one simple reason. The deli meat, including the cheeses, are loaded with sodium. But if you're a salt junkie, go ahead. We'll stir the ingredients until nicely blended. Wow, that's a lot. And then place some plastic wrap on top, making sure it touches and covers the surface. We'll transfer to the fridge while we're making the pie crust. On a floured work surface, we'll place our dough and divide it into 1/3 and 2/3. Then set the smallest one on the side. I like to wrap it so it doesn't dry out. Next, we'll roll the dough out to about 18 inches round and 1/8 inch thick. The springform we'll be using has to be 10 by 3. It's a pretty big pie we're making. As you see, I'm not quite there yet. I need to roll it out just a little more. When the dough is big enough, we'll carefully roll it on our pin to make it easier to transfer to the springform and center the dough over the pan without stretching it. Gently, we'll lift it slightly so the dough falls into the pan and play with it until it sits nicely at the bottom and covers the sides as well. If there's a little crack in the dough here and there, just grab some of the extra that's hanging over the edge and press down to cover it. I'm not a pastry chef, never claimed to be, and this patching job works like a charm. Now, we'll add our meat mixture, and it smells amazing. As we spoon it, we'll also push it firmly towards the sides so there's no air pockets that can be created. When the meat mixture is all in, we'll evenly smooth out the top, pressing down as we go with the back of the spatula. We'll take our remaining dough and roll it out to about 11 inches round so we have a little extra. Better to have more than less when dealing with dough. Like earlier, we'll roll it on our pin and place it on top, making sure it sits nicely over the meat mixture before pressing the top and bottom dough together firmly. Next, we'll take a sharp knife, trim the edges, and discard it. Then we'll brush on an egg wash, which is a beaten egg mixed with half a tablespoon of water. Now, we'll go ahead and fold down the dough from the edges of the pie before crimping, which is not obvious, especially to us women with nails. So to make this task easier, I use my knuckles. If we want, we'll also make an indentation just to make it prettier. Normally David does that, but I think I'm doing not too bad. And we'll brush the edges with the egg wash as well. We'll now transfer the pie to a 450-degree preheated oven, but right away, we'll reduce the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll bake for 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour and 20 minutes or until the top is golden brown. We'll transfer the pizza on a wire rack and let it sit for 15 minutes before unlatching and removing the color. See? Nice and easy. The crust should be a nice light golden brown, so we'll let it sit for at least 45 minutes. Then we'll use a big hard plastic spatula and gently slide it between the bottom of the pie and the middle pan and carefully transfer to a stand or serving plate. I like to let it rest for another hour before slicing, or I make it the day before and transfer to the fridge until the next day. And my friends, this is our pizza rustica. It's not your ordinary everyday pizza. With a multitude of delicious ingredients piled high and deep, this is a flavorful Italian recipe to make for Easter. Surprise everyone by serving this mouth-watering pie. I hope you give it a try soon, and be sure to visit clubfoodie.com for ingredient amounts, directions, and more info. Until next time, my friends, bon appétit!